When people say that Donald Trump's economic plan doesn't make sense, I say look at the record. He delivered rising take-home pay for American workers.
Kamala Harris has said to do the things she wants to do, we'll just ask the wealthiest to pay their fair share.
Let the individual states make their abortion policy, and I think that's what makes the most sense in a very big, a very diverse, and let's be honest, sometimes a very, very messy and divided country.
How can we as a nation say that your life and your rights, as basic as the right to control your own body, is determined on geography?
A sampling of the mostly civil, mostly focused give and take between the vice presidential candidates. There was one exchange in this debate I found particularly noteworthy.
Did he lose the 2020 election?
Tim, I'm focused on the future. Did Kamala Harris censor Americans from speaking their mind in the wake of the 2020 COVID situation?
That is a damning non-answer.
Panel, all in all, a refreshing exchange based on policy, although I'm not sure it moved many undecided voters one way or the other. We haven't heard from Tamara Bell on the election.
Let's go back to the last one because I didn't get to talk about that. And as one of those individuals who is a private citizen who does her best to try to help locals and my neighbors and my friends whenever we have a disaster here in Houston, I don't wait on FEMA to do nothing. That's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to help each other. When we had the Harvey, if it hadn't been for the Cajun Navy out there saving people in the middle of the storm, FEMA couldn't get here in time. So don't say that. And I promise you, I feel so sorry for the people in North Carolina because we've been there. Okay? We've been there. During Barrow, my neighborhood, they didn't have power for almost 2 weeks. So I know when you are in that scenario, it feels like everything is taking so long to do. But don't sit up here and say that you're not getting a good response because it's the way. I don't blame you. Y'all are, it looks like Katrina to me. That's what it looked like. And when Katrina happened, Bush was somewhere chilling. He didn't even go down there to see. He didn't care.
All right, Bill King, I assume you watched a good chunk of this debate. Thoughts?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing, actually. I turned it on thinking I'd probably turn it off halfway through, but I was shocked at how civil it was. I mean, they actually agreed with each other, periodically. And both of them seemed to be reasonably well prepared. I thought Vance did a better job than Walz, but he's a lawyer and he's more polished. I thought the two weakest moments in the debate was when he wouldn't say that Trump lost the election. And that's the problem is these people have to defend their running mates, and so they're constrained in some ways. The weak moment for Walz was when he didn't have an answer about why he said he was in China during the Tiananmen Square protest. I mean, the thing that I find strange about both of those is that you knew those questions were going to come up. How did they not get prepared for those? How did Walz not have a 3-line contrite answer for that question, And so I was a little surprised at that, but otherwise I was pleasantly surprised how civil and actually issue-focused the debate was.
Holly, 30 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I think it was a much more civil debate, and a lot of people were asking why these two weren't at the top of each ticket instead of what we have. Yeah, there were a lot of questions, and J.D. Vance should have had a better answer on that question, but as Bill said, he's kind of backed into a corner, if you will. Really concerning Walz is non-answer on why he lied about being near Tiananmen Square. It was even later in the year when he did arrive there. He was in Hong Kong, which is very, very far from Tiananmen Square. It brings up the question about some of the other things he's lied about getting awards from the Chamber of Commerce and some of the bills he signed that now he's saying, well, he didn't sign it or it's been misunderstood. He did sign a bill retracting that Born Alive Protection Act for infants who are born alive after a botched abortion. Before he signed that, there were actually 24 babies that were born in Minnesota who were born alive after an attempted abortion. And so they've withdrawn that protection now and also withdrawn the reporting requirement for that. So, I mean, that is an important question as we debate about where abortion laws should fall. We should be very honest about what we're doing here.
Okay, 20 seconds.
I thought Vance delivered the most eloquent performance I've ever seen in the vice presidential debate. He had command of the facts on issues. Walz spent a lot of time, looked like a deer in the headlights, and when it got to the lie thing, he finally got around to saying, I was a knucklehead and I misspoke. Well, that's what we want in a vice president.
You know what? I agree with Bob. Vance put on a great performance. And if I didn't know a liar when I saw one, then I would have believed it.
More